Welcome everybody to episode 7. We have filmed and aired this episode around Christmas time, so first of all, Merry Christmas to all of our subscribers. Nice spy hopping party, right? The orcas seemed to be in a very good mood when we found them. They greeted us with several spy hops and close pass-bys. It was quite a big group and they seemed to be mingling around in the area. The fishing season is still on, early December, but this day there was no fishing boats in the close proximity. The size of the pod attracted a few more whale-watching boats and they seemed to be cruising here and there between the boats. Whale-watching is an activity which requires a lot of patience. Some days you can end up with a very quiet day and some days can turn out to be magical, National Geographic moments. But we always must respect the animals' will. If they want to approach and interact with us, it's great, but we should never push or chase them. This is especially important. After all, we all do whale watching because we love whales. Sometimes guests ask us when are they going to jump or spy hop. Well, we never know. We cannot force them to do anything. There are certain days when they are in a more playful mood and days when they are not in a playful mood. We never know what kind of day we will end up with. That's the best feeling when we came in the harbor at the end of the day and had a best day ever. We had a lot of best days ever if we talk about orcas, but it is always an amazing day when you get to see them no matter what they were doing. So this morning seemed to be very quiet, but we had some occasions when they approached us or came closer. I have used this opportunity to do some ID photos to Norwegian Orca Survey next to filming. It's very important to try to have as many ID photos as possible from as many whales as possible so we know who visit the winter feeding ground. So Norwegian Orca Survey can track the population and continue their long-term non-invasive research. In this episode we will get to know 3 individual male orcas again. I'm sure all of you still remember Jumpy, Stripey and Flappy. I have contacted Norwegian Orca Survey and Eve helped me out with the IDs for the individual orcas and a few extra information about them. The 3 males are often associated together, which means they have regularly seen together within the same group. They have been seen each winter since 2012. It is very possible that they are genetically related, so means family, but not confirmed. So let's meet all 3 of them. The first one is NKW171. He is the one who has a nick on the top of his dorsal fin. It looks like a small part is actually missing from his fin, so he is more easily identifiable. We don't know what happened to him. He does not have a name yet and he is estimated to be around 20 years old. The second male is NKW518. He is estimated to be around 30 years old, so a little bit older than 171. He has a little bit more rounded fin, but no scars or no nicks. The last one is NKW693, Odin. Yes, he has a name too. He is believed to be around 30 years old as well, same as 518. That gives the assumption that even if they are from the same group, Odin and 518 have a different mother. One mom cannot have 2 30 years old sons at the same time. Patience always pays off, always. It is hard to believe, but it does. After an hour of mingling around between the boats, I noticed something. I saw two of the fully grown males speeding up and heading north very fast. We noticed something has happened, they heard something exciting, but soon after the male, the rest of the pod was already on their way north. They liked these rides, jumping and porpoising around the boat. We cruised with them approximately 15 minutes on 8-9 knots speed, which is almost 16 km an hour. When I looked behind the boat, I saw more and more orcas speeding behind us. At some point, they slowed down a little. It is hard for them to keep up the high speed for so long, but kept the same direction. Especially for the young ones, it's very exhausting. While we were cruising with them, we checked marine traffic to see if there was any fishing boat in the area where they seemed to head. We only saw a whale watching boat there, but not moving. It was stationary, so it definitely gave us the impression something is going on there. The orcas might have been woken up from their Saturday morning mingling by the sound of some feeding. They probably heard other orcas feeding, and that's why they rushed there too. We couldn't wait what is going to happen, but speeding orcas surely means something exciting. That we already learned from the past. When we were getting close, we spotted very exciting seagulls and white-tailed eagles too. I was very happy to see the orcas feed naturally and not around a fishing boat. And the feast have begun. We stopped the boat and floated in between the orcas. They were circling around us and feeding. When I looked into the water, I saw a lot of gray points. That is herring scale. When the orcas hit them with a tail slap, parts of their scale comes off. It almost looked like it was snowing underwater. Poor herring were scared of so many orcas, and they were jumping out of the water multiple times to escape them. Well, there were eagles and seagulls waiting for them. Poor herring. One of the males was very funny. I saw him coming on the surface and just floating and slowly moving forward, but not diving. The next second, loads of herring jumping above the surface. The orca was watching at his dinner table. I must admit that by the time this feeding happened, we already packed away our cameras because it was getting dark and it was big waves. Everything was so intense we had no time to take it out again and set it up. So I just sat down on the pontoon with my phone and filmed them with my phone. Sorry if it is a bit shaky, but that's part of the experience. The orcas were all over the boat and I had my boots in the water. Sometimes they just popped up half a meter from my feet. It was truly amazing. These kind of feasts can happen very quickly and end with the same speed. After half an hour, all of them spread out and it looked like nothing has happened. Based on my observations, after great feedings, the next day can be a little bit more quiet. It either can happen that the orcas will scout the area to investigate where are the herring, or they just leave for riding the waves in open waters to rest or to socialize. The next day, we did not see them feeding, but they were in the close proximity where the feeding was before, and they were just resting, socializing. It's always nice to see them enjoying some family time together. There were quite a few calves together with them, and they were actively interacting and playing with the rest of the pod members. Orca calves are very dependent on their mothers in the first part of their life. We learned from captivity that the gestation period for the orcas is 18 months, it's like 1.5 years, and that they nurse for over a year. Some of them, in extreme cases, can even nurse up to 2 years. When the rest of the group is feeding, it's part of the learning process for the calves, even if they are still dependent on their moms for an extended period of time. We had amazing lights at the first half of the day with beautiful colorations on the sky, and turned out to be more overcast with rain towards the end of the day. After a good socializing session, they started to head towards more open sea, and we decided to go look for humpback whales. Stay tuned for the next episode.